Before we begin our case today, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the sensitivity of the cases we discuss on the Passport to Crime podcast. It's never my intention to sensationalise tragedy or disrespect those involved. This podcast is for educational and discussion purposes only, designed to encourage curiosity and critical thinking. If any new information surfaces regarding any of the cases, especially the one we're talking about today, the disappearance of Lars Mittank, I urge listeners to report it to the appropriate authorities so his family may finally find answers. Every case we cover involves real people with real families, and it's important that we approach each mystery with respect and care. Now, let's move on. A man who ran and was never seen again. It's every traveller's worst nightmare to step into a foreign country, only for everything to go wrong. For Lars Mittank, what began as an ordinary holiday in Bulgaria quickly spiralled into something far more sinister. In 2014, Lars travelled with friends for a sun-soaked getaway, beach days, football matches, laughter over drinks. It was meant to be an escape from everyday life, but something happened. Something that would lead him to one of the most inexplicable disappearances in modern history. A head injury, a cryptic phone call, paranoia. Then the airport footage. One moment Lars stood outside Varna Airport. The next he bolted, his movements frantic, despite as if he were fleeing for his life. And then he was gone. No confirmed sightings and no remains found. Just grainy surveillance footage and a chilling question. What made Lars Mittank run? An ordinary trip turned mysterious. Lars Mittank was 28 years old, an intelligent, independent man from Germany, described as kind, responsible and grounded. There was nothing unusual about him, nothing that would suggest instability or reckless behaviour. That summer he travelled to the Golden Sands, Bulgaria, with a group of friends. They enjoyed football matches, relaxed on the beaches, and soaked in the warm weather. But then, one night, a fight broke out between rival football fans, and Lars was caught up in the middle of it. It wasn't a brutal altercation, more of a scuffle than anything else, but Lars suffered an injury. His eardrum ruptured, leaving him in pain and at risk for further complications. The doctor advised against flying almost immediately. The pressure changes at high altitude could worsen his condition, so Lars made the logical decision he would stay behind for a few more days, until it healed. His friends left Bulgaria, as planned, assuming Lars would follow once he was cleared to fly. But he never did, because something happened. A desperate phone call. It wasn't long before Lars's behaviour changed. His mother, Sandra Mittank, received a phone call from him. But this was no ordinary phone call. Lars spoke in a hushed voice, his tone laced with fear. He told his mother he didn't feel safe, that something was wrong, that she should cancel his bank card almost immediately. He offered no further explanation. He wasn't injured beyond his ruptured eardrum. There was no threats against him. But he sounded scared, terrified even. Then he vanished from the hotel where he was staying, heading toward Varna Airport. The footage that haunts the internet, the last confirmed sighting of Lars Mittank, comes from the infamous surveillance footage, captured on airport security cameras. The footage shows Lars standing outside the terminal. His movements are restless. His eyes dart back and forth, scanning his surroundings. He looks behind him again and again, and then he runs. Not towards the terminal though, not towards his flight home, but away from everything, across the airport grounds, over fences, into the wilderness beyond, and after that moment Lars Mittank was never seen again. Theories of what happened to Lars. A disappearance like this leaves a void, a vacuum where answers should be. There are multiple theories about what happened to Lars Mittank. Let's start with the psychological explanation. Experts suggest that Lars may have suffered from a sudden psychotic break. His head injury combined with prescribed medication could have triggered paranoia, or hallucinations? Did his mind betray him? Had fear consumed him so completely that he imagined danger where none existed? This theory is compelling, but it doesn't explain why Lars ran with such urgency or why he never resurfaced. Then there's the criminal theory. Some believe Lars may have been in actual danger, that he stumbled upon something he wasn't meant to see. Was he being chased? Had he been threatened? Had someone told him to run or die? And then there's the unexplainable theory. Some internet sleuths suggest that Lars was fleeing something beyond reality, something he saw, something he knew he could never escape, a force we don't understand, a danger that no one else could see. The problem, there is no evidence to prove any of these theories. No body, no remains, just footage of a terrified young man running towards the unknown. Where is Lars Mittank? To this day, Lars's mother, Sandra, continues searching for answers. There have been alleged sightings across Europe, people claiming to have seen a disoriented homeless man who could be Lars. But none have been confirmed. There is no proof of what happened after he ran from the airport. Only endless speculation, and an unsettling, unshakable question. Why did he run? And more importantly, did he ever stop? Before we end today's episode, due to the severity of the case discussed today, I just wanted to remind listeners that this podcast is about discussion and not exploitation. If you or anyone you know has any information that could help uncover the truth behind Lars Mittank's disappearance, I strongly urge you to report it to the proper authorities. Every case we cover involves real people with real families searching for answers. And when those answers remain just out of reach, we will still continue searching. Thank you for joining me on the Passport to Crime. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and always keep your passport ready for the unknown. Remember, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe.